Number of the day, the 13th of July, and it's a very, very small number, but of great significance. 10% is what we're talking about. It's De Beers diamond output. The concern is, Francis heard, Venetia Mine productions to be paused. This is a massive decision for them.
This is massive. So the decision was announced today by De Beers. They are suspending operations at Venetia Diamond Mine, which is in Limpopo, for 2 years. So we don't know what happens after that. We don't know what happens to the people employed at Venetia Mine, which, by the way, in 2023, in July, according to De Beers, at the time was 4,300 people. So we're asking De Beers to comment further. They are not yet. But this shows you, and remember, diamonds have been so important to South Africa. And De Beers, this diamond company, was founded in 1888. So we're talking about 140 years ago, but it's in the slump of its life. And we can talk about it, but people are just not buying diamonds like they used to, because first of all, the diamonds are always, no offense, but a girl's best friend, but they are very expensive. But I saw reports not too long ago now where the synthetic diamonds are beginning to take over because they're almost as good. I know nothing about diamonds, but almost as good as the real ones. Well, some would say they're better, right? Because if you look under a microscope, there are no flaws. So one of the ways that people can see a real diamond is because there's a flaw. But in terms of how it looks on your finger, almost no different. So, of course, this is what the De Beers story is incredible, because for a long time it was a monopoly. So it could control diamond supply. And diamonds aren't as rare as many people have grown up to believe, right? Because if you control the supply, you make it more rare and then you can make it more costly. So that's what De Beers did. And it also marketed diamonds and made sure that when I got married, I wanted a diamond ring on my finger, right?
Because, no pressure on the husband to go find the biggest one possible. Because
it was marketing. That is how you define a marriage moment, not of course a marriage, but it became symbolic, and it became a girl's best friend, and it became a lifetime investment. But this was about marketing, controlling supply. Then the pandemic came, and then synthetic diamonds gained in popularity because you can get this big whopper diamond that's bigger, cheaper, maybe looks better. Angola is producing more, so De Beers no longer controls production around the world. It still has a lot of the mines. And in China, the demand is not there. So there's a confluence of things. And Anglo, that owns De Beers, is actually trying to sell De Beers at this very moment, 140 years later, when diamonds aren't as in vogue as they were.
And it's a big issue for the country's economy as well, because I was reading now that Venetia accounts for 40% of South Africa's diamond production. I mean, it does, and it certainly has been historically, a very big player in our economy. It's one of the things people think of South African mining for.
Yeah, so 15% of De Beers has been owned by Botswana, which is owned by the Botswanan government. So it's huge for Botswana. Angola is a big player, but we have this history in diamonds. So 2022 diamond sales in South Africa, 28 billion rand, and the industry employed more than 14,000 people. So we're talking about really something big for our economy as well. So we're going to follow this, and we're going to see what's going to happen to those people. De Beers is saying that they will support employees and continue to invest in community commitments in Limpopo. And they really have tried to recycle water. There's a game farm, really being involved in sustainability in that area. So hopefully that does continue. And hopefully diamonds recover for Southern Africa, and for the sale as well, and for the future and all these thousands of people.
The profitability question is interesting, and I'm sure we will get comment from De Beers as well, because this is a mine that I think was about 3-4 years ago. There was a massive expansion of the mine as well. I was reading a $2.3 billion underground expansion, and that's around about the timeline you're giving when the world seemingly, for various reasons, started to lose a bit of interest in diamonds. So they've put the money into the ground to try and expand this. And now all these years later, they're trying to offset it.
So you're absolutely right. So Venetia opened in 1992. 2015 was when they unveiled this underground expansion, like you say, $2.3 billion.
Yeah.
So this company was investing heavily in this mining operation in South Africa that accounts for 40% of our diamond production. But remember, De Beers can control supply, so it can rather ramp up production at another mine, right? Or slow down production. That is the problem, that a lot of the value in diamonds has been based on controlling that supply. That's part of the problem. But I've been following the potential sale. So Anglo wants to sell off De Beers. And then there was a question, who would the buyer be? Then you had African governments interested. Of course, Botswana is already interested. Namibia was interested. Angola was interested. And you had these consortiums rising up linked to these governments. It's being reported today that one of those consortiums, led by a former CEO of De Beers, Bruce Cleaver, is now stepping away from the sale. So they're not going to buy it. Namibia reportedly and Angolan governments stepping away from buying De Beers, which will be sad, but many people were concerned that these governments would then get into debt to buy a company that really is a marketing operation and has been for over a century, and would they get into trouble? And for me, it's so sad because Africa has wanted to control its resources. Yeah. And commodities. Remember, the whole idea was that the colonialists came and they started controlling the markets and what was under the ground. And here was an opportunity for Africa to get involved. And maybe a government still will, or two or more, but maybe it's the wrong time.
Maybe it is the wrong time, but speaking of the timelines, as we land this particular plane, I think there is, at least for me, not knowing much about the industry, the fact that they're using the word pausing of production. I'm just thinking about the employees at this case. It doesn't mean this is the end of the road. There might be something which De Beers is maybe looking at. Let's rather pause it. Let's pull it back for now. In the hope, is from what I'm reading anyway, that something changes in the not too distant future.
Yes, in the market. And many are saying long term, people seem to want real things, right? You know, and maybe the world will already, people are still buying diamonds, and maybe they will go back to, okay, let's show I've got the real thing on my finger, and you will have a certificate showing that you've got the real thing. So they're really going to watch demand for diamonds. But right now, what we can say is that potentially up to 4,300 people may be affected by De Beers' decision to shut this mine temporarily for 2 years. This is the Venetia Diamond Mine in Limpopo.